here with PTA Global. Thanks for joining me. I just want to invite you into my gym, and I want to take you through a simple, quick little warm-up where hopefully you'll have some fun. I walked into the gym this morning. It's starting to get cool up here in Northern California, but it's still beautiful weather, just getting colder. And with colder weather, my bones get chilly. So what I want to do is I want to take you through something and hopefully maybe show you something new or just reaffirm something you've already learned so you can take it and make it whatever you want to do with it. You'll notice a lot of times people come in, they grab a dumbbell and they swing a dumbbell, they'll move it around, or they grab one of these sticks and they pick it up and they start twisting it, and all that's cool. All that can be very useful if applied appropriately using the right range of motion, speed of motion, etc. But what I want to do is I walked in and I found this 5-foot piece of PVC pipe, and I thought, you know what, how can I take this and actually use it to help me and facilitate my warm-up? So I looked at this and I said, okay, well, I understand the mobilizer concepts. And mobilizers, if you don't know, are just simply very slow, subtle movements to help increase the range of motion of the tissue as well as the joint. And so I thought, well, if I can take that, I can take the mobilizers, and I can take my understanding of my 3D motion checkpoints, which is simply a 5-step process to understand 3-dimensional motion, then I can probably use anything in the world and create a nice cool warm-up. Now, I don't want to be on the floor right now rolling around. One, I don't feel like getting down on the floor because if I get down, I'll probably fall asleep and I won't get back up. Two, the floor is kind of cold where I'm at here, so I don't want to be down there on the cold air. I just want to be able to start moving. So I come in, and here's something that I'm going to take you through, which is pretty basic, pretty simple. And I'm going to use this PVC pipe, and I'm going to go through a simple range of motion, just do a simple, easy motion, but I'm going to manipulate my body to create a different reaction throughout my system. And so what we'll do is we'll start with, before you actually start this, just give yourself a little test. Just simply stand there, and you're just going to just kind of bend forward and back up. More of a straight-legged dead raise. Just bend forward and back up, okay? And now just squat down and up, down and up. Just get a feel for what your body feels like, what the tissue tension is and all that. And now here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take this PVC pipe, and I'm going to hold on to it, and I'm going to use it as a mobilizer tool. So this is going to be my partner. I'm going to dance with this to make it kind of fun. This also gives me kind of a metronome effect. It gives me some type of timing. It gives me an ability to gauge my rhythm. And so what I'm going to do, because mobilizers are based around rhythm and timing and slow, subtle motion, I'm going to place myself in a standing neutral position, XXX, and I'm just going to go into hip flexion and extension. Very subtle. So I push out and away, back and toward me. Very subtle. Having the pole also creates stabilization. So it stabilizes me. It gives me an outside set of support so my body doesn't have to stabilize me, which can sometimes for people create or enhance tissue tension. And that's not what I'm looking for right now. So if I'm freestanding, sometimes I have to stabilize more, which creates more tissue tension. But with this, it actually causes me, it's like a balance aid. That's all it is. So I go forward and back. And notice it's slow, simple range of motions. And I'm not trying to go as far as I possibly can get. I'm just trying to stay within a range of motion that feels comfortable and that I have smooth, rhythmical motion. Okay? Now all I'm going to do from this is simply change my foot position. I'm going to go into an XXI, or internally rotate my feet. And I'm going to do the same thing. All I do when I do that is I change the tension of the external rotators, or muscles that have external rotation components to it. I create more tension through that, but I'm still moving in the same plane of motion. So I address one plane while moving in another. Reposition one plane while staying with the same motion in the other plane. Okay? And then I go into XXE and do the same thing. And doing just the opposite. So I'm affecting not only the hip complex, but I'm affecting my foot and ankle, through the knee, lumbar spine, thoracic spine, etc. Okay? So now that I've done that, now I can simply go back and I'm going to squat now and back. Squat and back. Squat and back. Squat and back. And then go into XXI and squat and back. Squat and back. And squat and back. And squat and back. motion that most people are comfortable in, sagittal plane, and I just change my foot position and what I'm doing through my lower extremity. Now what I want you to do is just after that simple motion, go back and now go down and reach here and then squat again and see how that feels or how that changed. For many people, or most of you, you'll notice, wow, that was a pretty good difference, and I hardly did anything. And that's exactly right. So once you've freed up, you go through that, then you can start changing the range of motion and or the speed of motion that you're moving through. We can also change foot position and or plane of motion of the stick. So now I can change my position and go into an RXX and do the same thing. And all that does is increase stress on the tissues anterior and posterior of my body because I have an asymmetrical foot position. So I can do the same thing in a staggered stance, RXX, or LXX. And I can go to LXI and do it, or LXE, or RXI, or RXE, just changing my orientation of my feet to change the stress to the tissues. I can also take it and go into a different segment or different angulation. So as I do that, you can see that my feet are moving in one direction, my ankles have different motion, my hips have different motion, as well as my thoracic spine. And again, I can go into RX, or an XXI or an XXE position and do that. I can go wider, because if I go wider and do that, whether I'm squatting or staying straight leg, it places different emphasis. I can go into a more narrow stance. And with a narrow stance, sometimes it's a very unstable position, but by using the stick sometimes, I can create a little bit more motion. That one you're going to want to be very careful about, and that's going to be a little higher level or something for someone as they progress. Okay? So I hope you get the idea of it. Take the stick, go play with it, and see what you come up with. But just remember, subtle motions, all different planes of motion, all different angulations throughout motion, different distances as you get better motion, and different speed of motions, okay? And you can stay higher, or you can go lower, so I can obviously change the verticality and go down lower, and then come back up. And use the pole to actually slide down, and come back up. So a lot of different variations. Hope you have fun. I'm going to finish up. I'm going to get nice and warm. I'm going to go out in the gym, and I'm going to blow it up, and I might take you with me if you want to come. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you again pretty soon. And don't forget to stay with us. Follow us on Facebook and YouTube. And come see us in our community at PTA Global. See you guys.